That is Control4 certified. We have that flexibility, two-way communication, all from the unit.
Once joint. If you're limited on space in your rack,
Is the drivers for the 28 and 58 are bound to the receiver. As soon as you are not the ones that the receiver are going to be using. The current composer, there's a beta going on. Some people are in the beta, I'm not sure if you are. But with Control4 and the existing feature set we already have. When we look at networking, so this is convenient. You have a built-in switch.
I do still listen to SACD, but most of the time it's music off a hard drive. And unfortunately, it's not the best quality.
Triggers. They are labeled main zone, zone 2, zone 3. But if anyone's ever plugged in the trigger before, you can use it for whatever it is.
It's moving to all IP. Because we all know we have troubleshooting IP systems. Or IP control from the receiver. When we look at HDMI, it gets pretty interesting. This is a matrix 9x2 switching system. You have 9 HDMI inputs, 2 outputs for main zone A or B, 2 dedicated 4K HDMI inputs. You also have 2 inputs overlapping with the 4K that will do high quality audio. So for those like me that are still doing SSCD, God knows why they're still $40 up on eBay. It still costs me a fortune to buy it.
Your picture up on the screen, HDMI sources, and now I have, let's say, a camera system. This is image, my main source. Okay? Let's go a step further. Now I have a, I think a few people still watch sports. Didn't the football season just start, that football thing? I'm not sure if it's going to catch on.
Switching to HDMI sources. So you select the source you want, it'll switch to it, the connection's already there, the picture's on the screen. It's just another level of wow.
It does support 4K and 3D. I can be watching a 3D source from a Blu-ray, whatever it happens to be, in the main zone, distances, and standard composite output. Zone 2 is variable, while Zone 3 is fixed output, so you will need some sort of volume control to power and probably lose my share of it. So, you do standard 5.2 biamp. I have some nice Logans that I use that I'm biamping, and you control the lighting, so you can see how it's done out of the box. And you can also see where the activation comes into play, and video streaming. That in and of itself is really, really cool. You put in, where'd my box go? You put in an 8C250. What's the warranty on this?
I'd rather have this one. A little bit too many buttons and a little bit too colorful for me. It is a device in there, and now you have all your listen options that are built into the receiver and also capable from the Control4 side. Same as the video side of it. Danny did me a really good favor, and since we don't have additional video sources connected, he eliminated them. But if I hit Blu-ray,
to watch that movie, you're watching us upscale that 2K content, the 4K place where you get one of those places where you can get a beer and food, and you can sit there and eat, and it's all about, it's a high-end experience. You pay
technology and implementation. We investigated opportunities, and when the first 2K models started coming out, I really wasn't satisfied. So we flew out to
VW1000. But can you see the difference? That's what customers say, can you see the difference? Can you really see the difference? But the first thing, let's talk about it. Whenever I sit closer to something or I make it larger, I magnify it. And if I magnify it too much, I start to see the little pixels and the space in between the pixels that make up the picture. With 4K, because you have so much more pixel detail, and the 4K projector has so much more pixels. So you go from this to that, which is where everybody wants to be. They want to feel like they're in a theater. It is called 100 degrees compared to 36 on a 4K TV. Which means, if you do a little geography, guess what they were saying? The edges of all the letters and the details. So they went to a high resolution panel, similar to a 4K panel. So now when you're holding it at On a 4K panel, I don't have to back up, or I can have a larger screen. They've done blind surveys where they just played a movie. One movie was in 4K, and they played the movie. Size means to you in this room, right? More customer gets a better experience, and you will make more profit. And we're not the only people that are doing 4K projectors or 4K panel. So how do you deliver it? When I was on the floor the last couple of days, they were like, how are you plugging this stuff in? HDMI. Now, there are ways that you can actually get 4K content. There's an application for PlayStation you can download and that allows you to take somebody brings their photo in, plug it into PlayStation of their wedding, and you display it in 4K glory. It's a pretty good. The limited amount of pixels on a 2K or an HD projector means the edges of line. Bring it back. And there's lots of people who have attempted to do it. There's lots of different processes. Shapes, all these different textures and details as it's stored in its memory. So when it looks at that 2K signal, it says, okay. More than just processing. Great lenses. 18 pieces, 15 advanced iris ratio. Now, we talked about the fact that when you do this, you lose a little bit of resolution at the top and the bottom. We have enough to give you a great picture. So lots of installation flexibility. People like to have what the pros have. Postcards, email announcements, all the stuff you need if you want to have an event, we can provide. Pro Best of 2012, and it just happened, Amy. You get reality creation, which is based on the technology that's built into our 1000. It's brighter. That is one. And of course, this is great. There's actually a test mode.
So the high side would be benefit of the